Usually when you hear a phone ring in a business, there's this immediate expectation of opportunity.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Right. It's a crisp, clear signal. The phone rings, you pick it up, and on the other end is, a new customer or a new deal, just a problem waiting to be solved.
It's basically the sound of commerce actually happening. Right.
Exactly. But then when you step behind the desk and you really look at the raw operational math of a business, suddenly that ringing phone sounds like something else entirely.
It sounds like a leak.
Yes. A very expensive, very fast week. So today, you are joining us for a deep dive into a fascinating, newly published article.
Yeah, this is from the ServiceAgent blog dated May 26, 2026.
Right. It's titled AI Answering Service versus Human Answering Service, 2026 Cost, Coverage, Quality, and Which Fits Your Business.
Quite a mouthful, but a really crucial read.
It really is. And our mission today is to, cut through all the tech jargon. We want to figure out exactly how businesses are handling the age-old logistics of missed calls right now.
Because the baseline for this entire conversation has completely shifted. I mean, if we rewind to, say, 2018, the calculus was pretty straightforward.
Oh, totally. Back then, human answering services were, highly professional, but just incredibly expensive.
Right. And AI answering services on the flip side were cheap, but they were painfully robotic.
Yeah, you would never want a 2018 bot talking to your most valuable clients.
Absolutely not. But the data in this news source shows that by 2026, that entire paradigm has just flipped on its head.
Okay, let's unpack this, because if the paradigm has flipped, we really need to start with the raw economics of it.
Well, the cost discrepancy in 2026 is, honestly, it's nothing short of staggering. A modern AI answering service operates on a flat rate model now.
Okay, so no hidden minute fees.
Right. You are looking at somewhere between $200 to $600 per month, period.
Wow.
Yeah. And if we break that down for a typical local business doing about, say, 300 or more inbound calls a week, that AI is costing them roughly 30 to 50 cents per call.
30 to 50 cents. Okay, so if the AI is essentially 50 cents a call, the human equivalent has to be, it has to be exponentially higher just based on hourly wages alone.
Oh, it is. A human answering service has a completely different pricing structure.
How so?
Well, they charge a base retainer, usually $300 to $1,500 monthly, but they also tack on a per-minute fee of about $1 to $2.50.
Ah, right. The meter is always running.
Exactly. So when you factor in a standard 3 to 4 minute conversation, those human-answered calls are actually costing a business between $2 and $4 each.
So an AI service is quite literally 5 to 10 times cheaper per interaction.
At least, yeah.
It reminds me of the economics of going out to eat. The AI pricing model is essentially an all-you-can-eat buffet ticket.
That's a great way to put it.
Right. You pay your entry fee at the door, and whether you eat 1 plate or 5, your cost is locked in.
Yeah.
But the human service is like paying per bite. If you suddenly get a surge in appetite or, in a business context, a massive spike in call volume because you ran a successful marketing campaign.
Or a freak weather event hits.
Yes. That success absolutely wrecks your monthly operational budget.
It does, because the human service scales linearly with time spent on the phone, which makes it very hard to forecast costs. But, and this is key, the source material points out something even more critical.
Okay, what's that?
The base invoice isn't even the biggest financial drain for businesses using human services. There is a massive hidden cost that the industry calls peak hour overflow, or the voicemail leak.
The voicemail leak. Let's talk about the mechanics of that. Why does a human call center inevitably lead to lost calls?
Well, it just comes down to physical limits. Imagine a human call center supporting dozens of different businesses.
Okay.
They have a finite number of agents on the floor at any given time. When those agents get slammed during a rush, any new incoming calls are automatically pushed to a voicemail queue.
Right, the dreaded please leave a message.
Exactly. And the behavioral data is brutal here. The source notes that 50 to 70% of callers who hit a voicemail greeting will simply hang up and call a competitor.
Wow. But, that makes perfect sense when you think about modern consumer psychology. Nobody wants to leave a voicemail anymore.
No one.
If my air conditioner is broken in July and my house is 90 degrees, I'm not leaving a message and hoping someone checks it in an hour.
Right, you're sweating.
Exactly. I'm going back to Google and calling the next HVAC company on the list until a real voice picks up.
And the article provides a fantastic real-world example to illustrate the financial impact of that exact behavior.
Okay, lay it on me.
Say you run that residential HVAC business. Your average ticket price for a repair job is, let's say, $400.
Pretty standard.
Right. Now, if your human answering service gets overwhelmed and you lose just 5 of those impatient voicemail callers a week to a competitor, the math gets ugly fast.
I mean, 5 calls a week is just one lost call a day. On paper, a busy owner might not even notice that attrition.
They won't notice it until they look at the aggregate. 5 calls a week at $400 each is $2,000.
Oh, wow.
Over a single month, that translates to $8,000 in leaked revenue.
Just from one missed call a day.
Exactly. So the real cost of that human answering service isn't just the, say, $1,500 invoice they send you at the end of the month. It's the $1,500 invoice plus the $8,000 you lost in peak hour overflow because they couldn't physically pick up the phone fast enough.
That completely reframes the entire ledger. You're paying for the service, and you're paying a penalty for the calls the service couldn't get to.
Double jeopardy, basically.
Yeah. But if we are being objective here, saving $8,000 only matters if the AI actually handles the call correctly.
Right.
I mean, if the AI is cheap but infuriates your customers, the savings are irrelevant. So how do the capabilities of these two systems actually compare in 2026?
The source breaks this down into 10 measurable dimensions of service. And honestly, it have beat down.
A beatdown, yeah.
Out of those 10 dimensions, AI wins 7 of them outright.
Okay, let's get into the mechanics of why AI is winning those categories. We established it wins on cost. How does it solve that voicemail leak issue we just talked about?
It solves it through the dimension of concurrent calls. Think back to that Tuesday lunch rush we mentioned, where 8 people call your business at the exact same time.
Right.
A human agent is a single processing unit. They handle 1 call and send 7 to the queue.
Which causes the leak.
Exactly. But an AI system operates on scalable server architecture. It spins up 8 separate instances and handles all 8 calls simultaneously.
At the exact same time.
Yes, with the exact same level of qualification depth and attention. It simply does not experience volume fatigue.
So it eliminates the queue entirely. That's massive. Now, if I'm running a business, my next biggest headache is usually data entry.
Oh, the CRM nightmare.
Yeah. If you are using customer relationship management software like Salesforce, HubSpot, or ServiceTitan, getting the details from a phone call accurately into that system is notoriously messy.
Which brings us to the CRM integration dimension. With human answering services, the standard practice is still highly manual.
Like they type it up and email you.
Pretty much. The agent takes notes and then sends you a delayed email summary of the call. Then someone on your staff has to manually copy-paste the caller's name, phone number, and issue into your database.
Which is slow and totally prone to human error, like typos in an email address.
Exactly. Modern AI, however, offers native, real-time API syncing. The AI understands the semantic data of the call as it's happening.
So it categorizes the information live.
Yes. The moment the caller hangs up, the AI automatically maps the name, the address, and the specific service request directly into the correct fields in your CRM.
So the data is actionable immediately, without a human ever having to transcribe it.
Completely automated.
What about coverage? Because a lot of businesses need 24/7 support, and human call centers famously struggle with the night shift.
Yeah, coverage parity is another clear win for AI. Human call centers often switch to a sort of leap mode overnight.
Like a skeleton crew.
Right. They run skeleton crews who just take basic messages rather than executing full intake protocols. But AI operates with true 24/7 parity.
Meaning it never gets tired.
Exactly. If a customer calls at 9 p.m. on a Saturday, the AI runs the exact same in-depth qualification script as it would for a caller at 10 a.m. on a Tuesday.
Wow.
Furthermore, it offers native multilingual support.
Because it's tapping into large language models that already understand dozens of languages.
Correct. If a caller starts speaking Spanish, the AI seamlessly switches to Spanish. No per-language surcharges, no frantic transfers to a bilingual agent.
It fundamentally democratizes high-level customer service for non-English speakers.
Yeah, it really does.
There is also the liability aspect to consider. I imagine a tired human agent on hour 11 of a shift might forget to read a mandatory legal disclaimer.
That is the consistency and compliance dimension. Many industries require strict adherence to regulatory scripts.
Like IPT in healthcare.
Yes. If you're in healthcare, you have APA privacy disclosures. If you take payments, you have PCI DSS security standards. Telemarketing has TCPA consent rules.
And if a human summarizes or skips a line,
It opens the business up to massive regulatory fines. AI never forgets to ask a qualification question. It perfectly executes complex legal disclosures every single time. Call number 10,000 is completely identical in quality and compliance to call number 1.
Okay, I have to push back here on behalf of anyone listening who has ever been trapped in an automated customer service loop.
Fair enough.
You are giving me all these stats about server architecture, API integration, and perfect compliance, but doesn't it still feel like talking to software?
I know what you mean.
I mean, I despise getting stuck in those phone tree menus where I have to yell operator 5 times just to escape. Do callers actually know they are talking to a machine?
So the source data is very clear on this. The complaint about robotic AI is largely a relic of the pre-2024 era.
Really?
Yeah, the technology has moved incredibly fast. Those old systems used decision tree logic, press 1 for sales, press 2 for support.
The worst.
Right. But modern AI voice agents, like the ones engineered by ServiceAgent or Retail, use advanced large language models.
So how does that actually change the caller's experience?
It completely changes the latency in the conversational structure. By 2026, the latency, that's the delay before the AI responds, has been driven down to human reaction times, around 200 to 300 milliseconds.
Which is practically instantaneous.
Exactly. The AI processes semantic meaning, allowing for open-ended, natural conversation. Callers can actually interrupt the AI, and it will stop talking, listen, and adjust its response.
Wait, really? It handles interruptions?
Yes. It naturally uses filler words like, or let me check on that, and it matches the specific voice and tone of the business. The data shows that unless explicitly told, modern callers simply do not realize they aren't speaking to a human receptionist.
Okay, but if the AI is indistinguishable from a human on routine calls, costs a fraction of the price, perfectly syncs with databases, handles infinite volume, and never sleeps,
Yeah.
why do human answering services still have a business model at all? What are those 3 dimensions where humans still win?
That's the perfect question. Human beings still absolutely reign supreme in emotional intelligence, complex consultative conversations, and premium brand positioning.
Because AI lacks lived experience.
Exactly. AI is incredibly smart, but it doesn't feel.
Let's break those down. Where does an AI fail to read the room?
Think about high-stakes, highly emotional situations. The article points specifically to family law intake.
Oh, that makes sense.
Right. If someone is calling an attorney because they are going through a bitter divorce or navigating an abuse case, they don't just need data intake, they need empathy.
Yeah, you can't fake that.
The same applies to healthcare crisis lines dealing with mental health or addiction. A human can hear the layered grief, the subtle sarcasm, or the hesitation in a caller's voice. A human offers genuine lived empathy. AI can simulate a sympathetic tone, but it misses those deeply human nuances.
That is a crucial distinction, because if I am calling about a family tragedy, a perfectly efficient algorithm actually feels insulting. I want to feel heard by another person.
Precisely. Humans also maintain a massive edge in complex B2B enterprise sales.
Like big corporate deals.
Yeah. If two companies are negotiating a $500,000 commercial contract, every single word has subtext. You need human judgment, intuition, and the ability to read between the lines.
And the third area.
Finally, there are premium luxury brands. If you operate a high-end travel concierge or a private wealth management firm, the core promise of your brand is a white glove, highly personalized human touch. Using an AI to answer the phone directly conflicts with the brand identity you are selling.
Here's where it gets really interesting. I'm picturing this operational divide, like driving.
Okay, how so?
It's the difference between a self-driving car on an empty, predictable highway versus a self-driving car navigating a busy, chaotic parade route.
Oh, I like that.
On the highway, the AI is actually safer and more efficient than a human. It stays in the lines perfectly, monitors everything, and doesn't get tired. But put it on a parade route with people throwing candy, unpredictable stops, and complex social cues.
It would freeze up.
Right. Sometimes you just need a human at the wheel to read the room and adapt to the unpredictable.
That's a perfect analogy. The AI handles the predictable volume flawlessly, while the human handles the unpredictable nuance.
So what does this all mean? If you are managing a business's operations, how do you actually apply this knowledge? Because you obviously want the massive cost savings of the AI, but you absolutely cannot abandon your customers when they are in a crisis.
The source outlines what has really emerged as the 2026 operational standard. They refer to it as the hybrid sweet spot.
A hybrid approach.
Yes, businesses are no longer choosing one or the other. They are layering them.
How does that layering actually function in practice?
Well, you deploy AI as the primary answering layer for 80 to 90% of your routine volume. These are those predictable highway miles, scheduling a home service, basic lead qualification, answering frequently asked questions about store hours or pricing.
So the AI handles all of that at 50 cents a call.
Exactly. But you program intelligent escalation rules into the system.
Meaning the AI is monitoring the conversation specifically to know when it is out of its depth.
Yes.
How does it detect that?
It uses real-time sentiment analysis algorithms and keyword triggers. If the AI detects elevated volume indicating an angry caller, or hears keywords associated with a physical emergency, or simply encounters a highly complex edge case it isn't trained for,
It transfers the call.
it instantly and seamlessly hands that call off to a live human agent. So you secure the operational cost savings on the 90% of routine calls, and you reserve your expensive, highly trained human talent for the 10% of interactions that actually require human judgment.
You are effectively creating a filter. You aren't replacing the human team. You are stopping them from acting like basic data entry clerks for repetitive questions.
Exactly. You're elevating them to premium problem solvers.
It's a significantly better use of human capital.
It really is.
But if I'm a business owner, I can't just take a vendor's word that their AI seamlessly hands off calls or perfectly mimics a human. I mean, how do I actually verify they won't blow up my customer relations before I sign a contract?
You test them. The article details a specific pressure testing framework.
Right, they call it the 5-call pressure test, yes.
Yes. Before you sign any agreement, you personally call the service and run them through 5 distinct scenarios designed to test both their technical limits and their cognitive limits.
Let's walk through the strategy of that test. I assume you start by throwing technical hurdles at them.
You do. You start by testing their capacity and API integration. Call 1 is the standard inbound at peak hour.
What are we looking for there?
You want to verify their response time, the depth of their qualification questions, and see exactly how fast that data actually hits your CRM.
Okay, got it.
Call 2 tests their 24/7 coverage parity. You call in an after-hours emergency, like a burst pipe at 2 a.m., to see if their escalation rules actually work to wake up the right person on your on-call team.
So that verifies the engine works. How do you test the human hurdles?
You shift to testing emotional intelligence and adaptability. Call 3 is a language test. You call speaking Spanish to ensure the depth of qualification doesn't drop just because the language changed.
Smart.
Call 4 is the distressed customer scenario. You act frustrated or upset on the phone to see how the AI's sentiment analysis reacts, or how a human agent handles the emotional escalation.
Like, is their response appropriate for your specific brand standards?
Exactly.
And the final scenario.
Call 5 is the off-script, unusual request. You throw a completely bizarre question at them that isn't in their standard playbook.
To see if they break.
Basically, you are testing how they handle creative problem solving. Do they hallucinate an answer, or do they know how to properly and politely say, I'll need to get back to you on that?
You are basically throwing the kitchen sink at the system to find out exactly where the architecture breaks.
30 minutes of rigorous testing gives you complete visibility into whether the service is a real operational fit for your business.
The article notes something critical here, too. If a provider resists you running this kind of robust pressure test, or tries to restrict the scenarios you can use during a demo.
Oh, that is a massive red flag. If they can't handle a simulated stress test, they will completely collapse when your real customers start calling.
Okay, synthesizing everything we've pulled from the ServiceAgent blog today, AI answering services have fundamentally rewritten the operational rulebook for 2026.
The math is just undeniable at this point.
It really is. They have made high-volume, scalable customer intake incredibly cheap and highly efficient by solving the voicemail leak and automating CRM data entry. And in doing so, they haven't eliminated human agents, but they have repositioned them.
Right. Humans are no longer there to just take basic messages.
Exactly. They are now premium, empathy-driven problem solvers reserved for the moments that truly require a human touch.
The hybrid approach really is the definitive solution for modern operations.
Yeah.
But, and if we connect this to the bigger picture, it raises an incredibly important philosophical question.
Which is,
if AI is now flawlessly handling 90% of our routine human interactions,
yeah,
the basic scheduling, the simple questions, the easy stuff, what happens to the entry-level customer service jobs?
wow. Because those entry-level jobs have always been the training grounds for the workforce.
Exactly. Those routine low-stakes calls are exactly how young professionals traditionally learn to communicate with the public. It's how they learn the intricacies of the business, develop their emotional intelligence, and eventually gain the experience necessary to handle that complex 10% of edge cases.
Right.
If that entire foundational training ground is permanently outsourced to an algorithm, where does our next generation of expert human problem solvers actually come from?
That is a heavy, fascinating thought to leave on. I mean, how do you learn to drive on the chaotic parade route if you were never allowed to practice on the empty highway first?
You really can't.
It's the cost of a ringing phone all over again, but this time we are measuring the future capability of our entire workforce. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. Keep asking questions, keep pressure testing the systems around you, and keep exploring this rapidly changing world. We'll catch you next time.